from playing to coaching and scouting and leading various kind of youth development projects. What have you seen in terms of how these different roles have shaped you as somebody that works in football?
Yeah, for me, it's more like a privilege that I had the opportunity to experience so much different perspectives in the world of football. I started at 14 years of age as a coach because I love the game football, but doing it myself and playing it, I wasn't the new Lionel Messi or Cristiano Ronaldo.
Right.
What do you see that we or players underestimate in this Premier League environment?
I always found that one of the challenges in rehab. Like if you're rehabbing a player and they feel great, they get to the end stage of rehabilitation and they're like, I'm ready to play here. I'm ready to play. And you're like, well, hang on a second. You've done some aspects of training. That's very different to going and performing in front of 65,000 people, in front of millions of people on TV and giving you your best. There's a big debate in my world around what return to play, return to performance means. And you can't replicate that going straight back in after you've been out for a period of time. But it's that mental pressure of decision making.
I think 2 years from now, it is going to be sustainable and that'll be such a relief. It'll be such a relief for all of us in the game. It's no fun running businesses that lose money. No. It really isn't. Honestly, it's no fun at all. And, however much fans always scream for more spending and more spending and more spending, having been a fan of a club and indeed run clubs, but particularly having been a fan of a club that was constantly going in and out of bankruptcy after Robert Maxwell died, it's just really stressful.
My background was about hard work, commitment, and that's how it shaped me up in my life. Even when that Premier League dream was there, I still worked hard. I still did things out of the game. I still worked for the PFA, so the way I played in particular was, being physical, running, working hard. I wasn't the most gifted, but no one was going to outwork me. And then when I look back on my career, that's what got me through some tough times, and as I said to you, it's not easy to play for Newcastle. They let you know if you're not doing well, and it can suffocate people.
What does a level playing field in global football look like for the disabled community?
It's showing up to a club and having the opportunity, having the accessibility, coaches being equipped to work with players of all ability levels, having the resources there. Like I said, whether it's communication boards for people that are non-verbal, whether it's ramps, it's astro pitches that can accommodate wheelchairs or frames or whatever it might be. Understanding that the people in the community have the opportunity to play. And for me, accessibility is always going to be the biggest thing. So when it comes to a level playing field, it's that the opportunity comes for whoever wants it.
When we look at successful players, I think in the future it will be less and less about talent itself and more about how good you're able to make sure you can evolve over time in terms of training, but then recovery, mental status. It's becoming more and more important, I think, to make sure you can really achieve the peak performance for over a longer period of time.
What happens for Ross County moving forward that now becomes a challenge, and I'll be honest, we're probably at a little bit of a crossroads where what we've been doing has been successful and had great joy being part of that. But football moves, other clubs move, the football landscape's changed, society's changed, and again it's just being able to try and move with the times. We still have our chairman that invests in the football club. There's a big drive to American investors coming into Scotland, and it's us being able to still have that drive to be able to compete and be the best version of Ross County.
What responsibility do the leagues and governing bodies have, in your opinion, to ensure that women's football grows with real equality in terms of care and standards and protection of players?
I think Europe has a lot of room to grow on having equity between female footballers and male footballers. They've got a long way to go. They need to raise the standards of their women's systems significantly.
How do you think content creators like you are going to have to adapt to stay genuine and to stay aligned to the next generation of fans?
So I'll give anyone the opportunity, if they're a creator and contact me and want to be on my channel, to push their channel, because I believe that I've had help and obviously been on channels before. I never not help someone. I've had people that said, "Oh, I'd love to make a channel. I'd love to do this and do that." I'm like, do it. Don't think about doing it. If you love the game that you love, pick up a camera and make content.
I heard about your biggest challenge, but what is the most rewarding part?
I was able to play football, and because I played football, I got university paid for. Now I try to make sure that more and more young people like me that look like me get an opportunity to be as successful as possible.
So if someone watching this works in football but hasn't yet engaged with disability inclusion, what's the one action they can take today to start making a difference?
One action, I would say they need to speak. You know, it could be a coach of a grassroots club, and they could be listening to this and thinking, wow, that sounds great. You know, our club could do that. Then speak to your club. Don't be afraid to raise this. Don't be afraid to share your passion. And it may be a small passion right now, but don't be afraid to speak up.
Mental performance is huge. Your mentality is huge, and you can develop it and improve it is absolutely massive. So almost like looking at it from a different perspective and going, right, let's start building and improving players in this area. And then, you know, as well as the technical, physical and tactical, they'll have better rounded players. We'd have players that can deal with everything that's thrown at them as young footballers. When they're not, or if they don't get a contract, they then go off and they can deal with it better. They can understand it better. They can then go and help other people. And it's just a knock-on effect.